So we'll take a nice. Okay, here we are. We're starting our C-Suite Network Women's Coaching and Consulting Council with a little heart-centered connection, right? Who appreciated that? Just kind of getting connected to your heart, right? Boy, our clients, our community need us more than ever before. And can you imagine being out there in the world and not connected to other people like you who are such beautiful, heart-centered, caring, competent, and committed people? And so, sisters, I just want to say thank you for the work you're doing. Everything you do is in the plus column, okay? And we are focused on having more pluses in the world than we are on minuses, right? So please do not underestimate everything you do, who you are, and the connection you make and the thing you do in the world. So thank you for you. Thank you for you. Okay. So jumping in, today's topic is all about partnerships and how to attract and secure sponsors. And so I'm going to just jump right in. And I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of C-Suite Network's Women's Coaching Consulting Council. Hey, give me a little sparkle if you can see these slides without any gray boxes. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. The tech gods and goddesses have come to my aid. And, for all of us, you have supporters in the world. And that's what today's topic is all about. People that are aligned with supporting you in what you're doing in the world. And so the opportunity is real. And, I like to show my little golden egg. There's great opportunities about sponsors. And several of our sisters are going out today, and actually they're attending live events in their communities so they get to see and experience the power of being a sponsor and being with other people who are in events that are being sponsored. So I'm not going to dwell a lot on the stats, but you can see, check out this great website, doublethedonation.com. Sponsorships are hotter than ever before. And so corporate sponsorships, and we're going to talk about what you can do specifically around sponsorships, but you can see that it's a huge market and a huge industry. And it's important to support the work that you're doing. So, with that, I'm curious. My curious question is, what has been your experience with sponsorships? Either you've been a sponsor or you've had sponsors for your events, your books, your programs, your podcasts, your initiatives, that type of thing. Just want to kind of read the room. What is your experience with sponsors?
I'll jump
Yeah.
in
Hey,
there.
Kathy
And
Dirksen, welcome. Hi.
sponsorship is something I've been thinking about, but hadn't really known how to approach. Because as most of you know, I do multi-author books, and it'd be wonderful if we could get sponsors to cover the cost of creating the book so that the authors didn't have to chip in quite so much or possibly at all. So it'd be wonderful to get those sponsors, and the idea too of making sure you get a sponsor who is in alignment with your own values and what you want to do and represent the project. So yes, it's something I'm interested in learning more about. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Great. And we can see that for you. And that is really, really exciting. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Who else? Pat, thank you for jumping in. If you want to come off mute, we'd love to hear your beautiful voice. If you can do that, it'd
Okay,
be
hello
great.
everyone.
Hi, Pat.
I'm actually in
Welcome.
my car, so I know it's easier if
It's
I'm
okay.
off video in order for you
That's
to all hear me.
okay. Oh,
But
that's good.
I've been sponsors in a number of organizations, and I am now at a point where I want to develop my own sponsorship strategy to support the retreats that I do for women.
Beautiful, Pat. Fantastic. We can so see that for you too. That's great. Yeah, good. Anyone else been a sponsor, had sponsorships?
Question.
Okay. Jump in, please.
What's the
Angela.
difference between a sponsor and an investor?
Ah, interesting. I think sometimes the term is used interchangeably. And from my perspective, and ladies, jump in if you've got you have a point of view on this. To me, an investor is someone who is investing in perhaps the corporation, the bigger picture, the bigger initiatives. the business itself, and of course the founder and the company. Sponsors, in my experience, are people who are participate for a period of time or participate and partner with a corporation, an organization, people, that types of thing on events. And I'll have a whole list of ways that sponsors can help sponsor you and your initiatives. So investor big picture company, sponsors more of like a tactical kind of investment strategy. Make sense, Angela? Oh, okay, good. You're on mute. Yeah. Yeah, very good. Okay, good. Great question. Super. Okay, anyone else want to jump in? Okay. So with that, and just checking in, you can see my slides here. Give me a little yes if you can. We're trying something a little different. Yeah. Uh, with Also, I think that it's so important to get really clear as step number one. And you can see my why are you interested in partnering slides, right? Give me a little yes here. Good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great. Okay. So I think that starting with why are you interested in partnering? And I'd like to say sponsors come in a variety of forms, which we're going to talk about in a moment, but getting your why is really, really important, and understanding like where you're coming from. Because in my experience, if we're just looking for people to give us money for an event or a project or initiative, it doesn't go very far. I mean, the conversation is a pretty quick one and done. So understanding your why and thinking about there's so many opportunities that could be your why. Okay. Your why could be certainly generating more revenue, adding more credibility to the work you're doing, adding more resources. Okay. People, things, opportunities, like co-acceleration opportunities are so great. And for us, of course, as well, is getting new audiences, acquisition and ability to connect with new audiences, new opportunities, and truly a partnership experience. And so some thoughts, I just want to pause. What are you thinking for yourself around, hey, why would I want to be involved with partners? And Kathy, you mentioned a few minutes ago, hey, kind of reducing the cost for authors to come in and you get into book projects. Absolutely perfect. Yeah.
And of course, so it
Certainly
also
sponsors
would
can
be
reduce
the
the
other
cost. Yeah, thank you.
direction. So it'd be a sponsor who would or gain value from participating. So, kind of going both ways.
Yeah. Mutual reciprocity, right? That's your whole jam, lady, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's really great. Yes. And certainly that's what sponsors are looking for too, is they're looking for the same kind of thing. They're looking for opportunities, new revenue opportunities. And let me show you a quick slide here as well, because we have a lot in common with what sponsors, why are they sponsoring? And of course, they're sponsoring for exchange of value, getting access to new clients, new people, new opportunities. And they also are sponsoring because there's a values and mission alignment. The same thing, the same reasons we're sponsoring as well. We're looking for sponsors and to really expand the opportunities that 1 + 1 = 3. And of course, jump in. You have comments, questions. We're going to fly through this pretty quickly, but one of the things that I firmly believe in, and this is it's a new perspective in the last couple of years, is let's think about sponsorships as really an opportunity for the quadruple win. Hey, you win, your audience wins, the people who are involved with the event, the podcast, the book, the movement, whatever it may be, and also the sponsor, so to speak, wins, and also the greater good wins, the community, the marketplace, so that there's this quadruple win. It's not just you win because you're getting income or you're getting revenue from the sponsor, but yet everybody truly wins. And I have to say, honestly, there have been few times when I, as a sponsor, have felt that way. And I think we can always do a better job about sponsorship as well for the Women's Coaching Consulting Council and for my business. So, any thoughts about how you could take your perception and your strategies about, okay, here's how I'm looking at starting to think about sponsorships for my events, for my books, my projects, those kinds of things, my retreats, and think about it in the quadruple win kind of lens. Some thoughts that are coming up for you. Jump in. I want to get your voices in here. What really could be the win for everyone?
I was doing my weekly round of LinkedIn connection invites, and I was like, damn, I'm inviting a lot of HR people from Sacramento. And presumably a lot of them are accepting, right? So, it crossed my mind, we should have a lunch and learn concerning hiring for champions, but I can't afford it. So, say you take some new restaurant that just opened up in the Sacramento area, if such a creature exists, and I'm reasonably confident that it has to, and say, hey, can you sponsor this event? You're just opening up. You give us a space, feed everybody. We say this is the lunch and learn sponsored by, you know, Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe in Sacramento, California. Free advertising for you, a good lunch for the participants, and if you feed them, they'll come, and savings for me.
Angela, brilliant, brilliant. Hey, like, talk about getting on the court now and starting to think about, okay, here's the launch of this, and here's the trends, and here's how I can do something. Maybe, let's just say for all of us, maybe Pepsi-Cola or Coca-Cola or AT&T might be a little bit of a stretch today for some of us, but locally, there's possibilities. Thank you, Angela. That's really great. And I have to say, that's for me where all of my sponsorships have started, is where
Mhm.
I've had, I call it global, a global and a local kind of focus. And so we'll talk more about that. Yeah, exactly. Who are
Yep.
your
And
local
if you get
companies?
the
Yeah,
Rosalie's Good Eats Cafe reference, you're my people.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's exactly it. And maybe there's an additional sponsor that sponsors some other part of the luncheon as well. The local chapter of your SHRM, your Society of Human Resource Managers, or the local chapter of your CEO group, or the local chapter of XYZ organization. So really good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else thinking about, what could be kind of an interesting approach that you could use?
This is Pat. I think the other element here is timing. For example, I'm a breast cancer survivor and I'm an advocate for helping women in this space. And so there are a lot of companies that are really and want to be out in the community in October, and just aligning those causes is should be part of the strategy, I think.
Pat, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And looking at this is what we talk a lot in our council about is looking at the next 12 months. What are some holidays, initiatives, things that are perhaps local and regional and national and international that you could essentially hook your wagon to? So, yeah, really good. And looking at also a strategy of who else, we'll talk more about tactics here, but thinking about modeling what are some events that you've gone to and who have been the sponsors who have been sponsoring events or who are doing like kind of projects? We never want to copy, absolutely never want to copy, but looking at who are the sponsors and of other things that are going on like events, and how could you partner with them as well? Chances are that if you have a like audience, they're going to want to partner with you too. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And we know right now in the corporate setting, right now, corporations and businesses are budgeting for 2026. So the timing of this, ladies, is perfect for you because they're putting together their budgets for next year's projects and initiatives. And we know retention, attraction, increased productivity, increased competitiveness, helping with burnout, helping with caregiving employees, which is the topic of next Thursday. All of these topics, they're looking for ways to increase the stickiness and the value to their employees and their associates, their partners, the supply chain, et cetera. Yeah, good. Anything else coming up for you? Thinking about partnerships. Yeah, what's the quadruple win? How can you win? They win. The clients, the people that are their, the target audience, and how about the greater good as well? Yeah. Thank you. Okay, good. So I hope that I can hear that the wheels are turning here. All right. And also thinking about there are, what do corporations or businesses, what do they sponsor? Oh my gosh, you can see the list here. So many things. Okay. They have budget and they're specifically on a global level, but also more importantly, too, local and regional they've got to get more visibility. They have got to get more visibility with their local and regional audiences. Okay. And so co-partnering on events. My goodness, I do so many women's events in my local area. It's crazy. I also partner with chamber events, chamber foundation events, economic development events, and putting on collaborative events, products that you can kind of collaborate on a product, maybe a launch of something. They want connection to influencers and or people like you, right? People who have their people, right? Webinars, podcasts, all kinds of things, broadcasts, newsletters, books. They're partnering on groups and communities and causes. So it is incredible, the opportunities. And I will also say one of the things that I've been doing is thinking about, I'm starting up a podcast by the end of the year called The Category of One. Thank you. And I've been listening to more and more podcasts and really with a keen eye to how do these successful, long-standing podcast hosts, how do they handle sponsorships? And I have a distinct point of view now on what I want to do and what many of them are doing. And so I'm just curious for all of you, what have you noticed in the way of sponsors and sponsorships that kind of work for you for your what you'd like to do, and then also maybe don't work for you? And I will just start it by saying I've been listening to a couple podcasts where it seems like they have a lot, like it's an 80-20 rule. 20% is the content or the guests, 80% is the list of the sponsors. And it's like, ugh, it doesn't feel good to me. It's not good, not good. I'd rather flip it around and have 80% of the enjoyment of the podcast, 20% or maybe even 10% of the sponsors. So it's kind of I think it also maybe gets into, maybe a bit more of a, I'll just put a label on it, maybe more of a feminine model as opposed to a masculine, let's get the income from the sponsors. Any of you have a point of view on what you've seen work? And then maybe not, we don't need to name names, of course, but what works and what doesn't so much in the way of sponsors. Jump in, jump in. See, I'm raising your awareness on all these kinds of things that,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm
please.
like you, Kathleen. I pay attention to the structure of a podcast. And for me, if I find that it's an 80-20 sponsorship, uh, I'm turned off by it and I won't return to that podcast.
Kat, I bet it's the same with retreats that you're doing and also events too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think there's a way to bring in sponsors where it's aligned with your mission, your vision, and your values and the whole vibe. I think there's a way to do it. I like to use the word classy. I want to always keep it classy. I don't want to like jam anything down anybody's throat here, but to be able to do it in a way that really serves. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yep, very good. Got that. Yeah. So I think part of this today is to think about what is it that really aligns with you on how do others in your space, are they, do they have sponsors? How is it working with their sponsors? How do they bring in sponsors? Kind of what's the format of it? Just to be aware of what works for you, what do you like, and then what doesn't work so much. Good. Any comments, questions? Just jump right in. So, yep. And today is to also mention that with this too, some ideas about, how can we take the next step? And my plans are to have a sponsorship summit for our council, but it's going to be about 60 days out where we're going to have a real focus on how kind of getting into it on what are the tactics of how to get sponsors and what are the agreements that you need to have in place, what are the different levels. I'm going to go through a little of that today, but to actually use our summit as an opportunity for you to get really in the game and to be able to apply kind of these ideas and tactics to a sponsorship plan for you for 2026. Okay. Hope you like that idea because I think that's going to be super good for us. And so with that, it's also jumping in that we can go in and be able to look at, let me just stop my sharing here. Good, good. Anything else that's coming up for you? Yeah, kind of getting the wheels turning that, hey, there are opportunities for me to get more partnership. And I think that that's really for me the key is how can I build more partners, more advocacy, more opportunities for people to contribute to a greater cause where I get to the opportunity to showcase them, they get to showcase me, and it's such a win-win opportunity, really important. Okay, so thank you. And jumping in to maybe some tactics now that may be helpful is we discussed this already, but starting to do some investigation, starting right away is corporate sponsors are fantastic. And that's my background on, working with corporations and businesses. Individuals can certainly be sponsors as well, but thinking about who are, if we're looking at it, your niche, who are the current sponsors that are sponsoring book launches and like CEO projects or retreats or big initiatives around accessibility or humanitarian people-based things, who and books and podcasts, who are in your niche, who are the current sponsors that are raising their hand and investing their resources in your niche, who already has your audience. Okay. So thinking about who are the sponsors that are in perhaps the CEO business to business space or the accessibility space or the HR space or the women's empowerment space or whatever your niche is, who are already in those sponsorships. And of course, who do you want to vibe with? Who do you want to connect with? Because it truly, a great sponsor is the 1+1 = 3, the quadruple win as well. And if you have a sponsorship situation where it feels like it's drudgery and not alignment, it's a really tough situation. So sometimes my experience is sometimes it's great to do rather than do a whole year-long commitment. Start with an event, start with the project that you can work with a sponsor on. And of course, start local. If you have local businesses that want more of a regional or global reach, or they want to reach more people, they want to test out new initiatives, they want to be able to partner. I love the idea, and I do it quite frequently, is going local. And of course, here's some ideas of what you can do, sponsorship possibilities. Hey, local banks, I've had great experiences with that. Law firms, co-working space, any sort of wellness brands, HR services, tech companies, people who are aligned with your particular mission. Wild cards, hey, some unexpected but powerful alignments can certainly be things that your ideal clients want to purchase or want to learn more about, want to be involved with. So it could be wild card like you're launching a book, but also you want to connect with a healthcare company that is aligned with your audience, that has interested in CEOs and businesses. They want to, maybe it's a printing company, or maybe it's an event company, or maybe it's an insurance company. There's so many different opportunities for that. So just curious, who could be some unexpected sponsors that maybe you're thinking about? Feel free to put it in the chat, take yourself off mute. Unexpected sponsors, because they're really out there. And it could even be a LinkedIn or in your local regional area is that maybe there's a call for sponsors. And here's the list of amenities, which I'll talk about in just a moment, is in seeing who raises their hand and start the conversation. Who would be interested in being a sponsor for this retreat or for this book launch or for things like that? Of course, you have a very strong vetting process. You know who you're looking for, you know the criteria you have, and you have, as I'll mention here in a moment, you've got a menu of opportunities for sponsorship, but starting that whole process is really powerful. So, any thoughts about any unexpected sponsors who could jump in and partner with you? Because sponsors are everywhere. Okay, very good. And just as a little FYI, is within corporate, specifically, that there are so many different sponsors, and kind of the area is, of course, looking at within a corporation, there are different titles: chief development officer, department leads, community outreach, and customizing your proposal to what's in it for them with a lot of benefits and a lot of return on investment. So these are some general titles that you could use if you're thinking about going for a larger, maybe a global kinds of company. Here are some things that you might think about. And of course, thinking about some tiers as you start to think about sponsors. So the step, of course, is why do you want to do this? What could be the win for the quadruple win? And of course, what's the kind of sponsor that would add to your project, would be an addition, a plus instead of a minus? And of course, what kinds of things would you like for them to sponsor? Maybe it's that you've got a launch of something and then you have a sponsor for a road trip, or you've got a sponsor for regional things, or you have local sponsors. Those things are completely possible. Hey, it's all possible. Okay. And thinking about that, you can have tiers of sponsors. Typically, you've got the bronze, silver, gold, platinum levels. You can have different names for your sponsorship levels, have an a la carte menu of things, use your AI assistant to help you with all these things, and also finding out what is it that your sponsors are interested in. Are they interested in getting more visibility with their target market, engagement, influence? Are they looking to sponsor like an experience? Angela, I'll come over to you in just a moment. Are they looking for like a one-off kind of thing, or are they looking for something like a hybrid, maybe an in-kind of sponsorship along with some cash or a financial contribution? So there we go. Angela, jump in with your question. Thank you.
I'm hearing you talk about this, and it sounds scary, soliciting for nonprofits. So how do you distinguish between the two?
Angela, could you repeat your question, please?
Yeah.
Your audio
So
just
I'm
comes.
listening to
Mhm.
Wow.
Audio mute currently on mute.
Okay.
Huh. Is that better?
It's very good. Thank you.
I don't know what the problem was there. Um, you're talking about soliciting, or excuse me, you're talking about getting corporate sponsorships. And it sounds, can't speak, sounds scarily similar. Try to say that 3 times real fast. My goodness, to soliciting for nonprofits. So how do you distinguish between the two?
Great question. It can be very similar to that. And one of the great areas is to look at what the nonprofits are doing in your area for examples. And generally within nonprofits, they've got dedicated sponsorship donor, they've got development people within the organization. And, you know, many nonprofits, they rely on sponsors, donors, benefactors, those kinds of things for not only events, but projects. And so I have quite a few friends and colleagues who are in that space, and they teach me so much about this whole sponsorship game because it is a game.
Hey,
So it very, very similar, Angela. It's a very similar kind of model.
Okay, but how do you avoid the legal trap of being, oh, this is a corporation that's soliciting?
Uh, Meaning your corporation is soliciting? Is that what you're saying?
hey,
Right. So it's there. There's a bunch of laws and regulatory stuff that I don't really understand, um, that governs nonprofits can solicit donations. Corporations don't want to be confused with nonprofits. There's rules governing what they can and can't do.
Right.
And I just want to make sure, corporations sponsor each other all the time, but I just don't know how do I avoid that trap?
Great, great question. Yes. So having a formal policy that sponsorship is part of we're assuming now for this conversation that we're not a non-for-profit. We don't have a 501c3 kind of arrangement. We're a for-profit business, a C Corp, S Corp, LLC, whatever your sole proprietorship. So you have a business that people will essentially purchase a package. They will purchase a product or a service from you, which will be a specific sponsorship. So being really clear in your language that this is what is this? What is the cost of this? What are the services rendered? And what are the outcomes that are expected? What's your policy on, returns or, all of those kinds of things, your customer service policy? What are all of those things? But really, it's a great point, specifically saying that you are not a 501c3 and this is not a charitable donation. Okay. Yeah. And especially when you're doing the in-kind kinds of sponsorships to really make sure that what you're delivering and what you're saying what is this and who is it for, what's it for, and all the legalese is really important. We're going to talk about that during our summit too, is what are the kinds of agreements you want to put together. And they differ, state by state and country by country. So we'll be talking about some generic things that you want to have, some standard things you want to have in your agreements. Hope that helps. But the non-for-profit or non-profit analogy is really the spirit of, I wanted to bring that up, it's the spirit of asking local businesses, asking for partnership on events and projects and initiatives. Okay. And there's an exchange of value, most certainly, with any sort of nonprofit or business. Okay. But how the donation is handled differs with obviously a for-profit versus a non-for-profit, and so being really clear about the tax deductibility of all those things, and that's just a great, great, great idea and a great thing to bring up. Thank you. Yeah, good. Any other questions before we move on? Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of options, and my intent for today is to have us start thinking about, hey, how can I get more opportunities for collaboration and to have a new income and a new revenue generating opportunity for my business? And I don't have to do this alone. I can partner with like-minded businesses, like-minded individuals to expand the reach of what I'm doing. So, with that, what's your biggest takeaway from our time together? Would love to have you think about, hey, what could be one action you can take in the next 24 hours, could be just as simple as, hey, who are the sponsors that are sponsoring X, Y, and Z? And just start to do a little research. You use your AI assistant to do a little bit more research, do some deep research on sponsors in your region, in your location, in your niche, all those kinds of things. Any ideas about what could be one next step for you?
For me, Kathleen, it's really to start local
I
and
love that,
just
Pat. Yeah,
yeah, because so many times they want to go big
yeah.
and take the baby step to start local. So for me, it's like which local companies that live close to me and live within the Dallas Fort Worth area, which is where I'm from,
Yes.
is
Mhm.
reach out to them first and get my feet wet doing
Yes.
local.
Pat, that's perfect. And to even start the conversation with, how do you generally work with local companies on sponsorship? And just to get the conversation of, hey, I've got this women's retreat that I'm planning and would love to have your partnership on this. How have you sponsored other local events with women attendees at this particular level? How have you done this in the past? I mean, it's just such an easy, nice question rather than us also starting with, all right, the gold, silver, bronze package and all these types of things is like, hey, just get in conversation and find out what have they done that's worked? How does their company like to work with sponsors and co-create something really special with them? Because you just get to start, right? Start as a pilot project. Keep it really simple. Yeah, and of course, Pat and anyone else here, and of course watching our interactive gathering here, give me a call, jump on my Calendly, and let's talk about your particular project, your launch. Love to have a conversation with you about what the possibilities are. Love to do that. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Pat. That's great. Anyone else want to jump in about some ideas about what you'd like to do as a next step? Research is always good. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah,
Suzanne, please.
yeah. For me, definitely research and coming up with the potential sponsors in areas that I haven't given this much thought at all. So it has been a great session.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. Thank you. Good. Yeah, we're always committed to expanding the possibilities that we don't have to do, we don't have to work so hard. We get to generate the greater we, and that we get to create transformation and we get to work with others in the process. They're looking for partners. They're looking for people to raise their hands. So that's great. Suzanne, I can't wait to hear, and you, Pat, and of course, Angela, like a success story. Thank you very much. So with that, hey, we're going to pivot to next Thursday. I'm bringing in some HR directors that are clients of mine to talk about what's happening with caregiving. And caregiving, if sure you're up on what's happening with all of the news feeds within corporations. It's one of the hottest topics out there is the sandwich generation now of particularly predominantly women caregivers. Men are doing this too, but in the workplace, this has such an implication for us dealing with children, supporting children, but also parents and loved ones. So it's a big, big, big hot topic, and our HR people are going to come in and talk about it with us. So great opportunity for your thought leadership. And of course, just want to do a little shout out. Carol Kammerer could not be here today, but she's doing an executive briefing to demonstrate and show us the results of her great survey that she just did, her research project. Be sure to register for that. Check it out on LinkedIn. If you haven't connected with Carol as well, be sure to do that. And of course, Amanda Taylor launching her new Expand Your Empire podcast. Check out that with Amanda. And you, Suzanne, congratulations to you on your book launch. Anything that you'd like to share with the developments of that? We're very excited for you.
Yeah, it's going live on Amazon on Monday, and yeah, it's been a great journey, and I didn't realize that there were so many things to do and to keep up keep on doing with first designing the book, writing the book, and then pre-launch, getting early readers, launching the book, and how many different types of income streams you can generate after the book is done. So that is what I'm exploring at the moment with different types of formats and translations and you name it. So yeah, it's been a fantastic couple of months doing this, and I will definitely continue writing books.
Congratulations to you, and we are so thrilled for you. Hey, it takes a lot of courage to do what you've just done. So big sparkling for you, dear. That's really good. Hey, we'd love to feature you in an upcoming program about, hey, what did you learn? What are the best practices? What would you do again? What would you say? No, not for the next launch, but sharing your wisdom. Yes, and of
Yeah,
course, the benefits to your readers and to all of the organizations that get to benefit from your thought leadership and your experience. Congratulations to you. Thank you. Good. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Very good. Good. So with that as well, congratulations. And of course, feel free, schedule some time with me. Let's talk about what you've got going on with your business and how our council can support you in that. So very good. And finally, we'll complete. What's your biggest takeaway? We like to put a little bookend on our time together. What's your biggest takeaway from our time together? Feel free, take yourself off mute and jump in. Your biggest takeaway.
Please.
Definitely an
Sponsors are
idea.
good. Yep, Angela, go ahead, please.
Sorry, definitely an idea incubator.
Yeah, exactly. This is a topic that is a very full and robust one, and in literally 50 minutes to cover the whole thing is a pretty big feat. But just to get things going,
And I know we had our
sponsors are our
coaching call
friends.
already for the month, but
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, lots of opportunities for you with your initiative with Make Business Accessible, right?
well, it's interesting to Stewie. Where do we focus?
Okay, all right. Well, let's talk about
Mm.
that afterwards. Good, thank you. Anyone else, your biggest takeaway?
I just really starting local
Yeah, thanks, Pat. That's
is really
great.
key. Yeah, and also the website, double the donation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. A great, great site. My goodness. Yep. Big shout out to them as well. Thank you. Very good, Pat. Thanks for being here. And thank you. Yes, very good. Suzanne, any takeaways from our time together?
Yeah, what I said before that I haven't really considered this, and I can see a lot of opportunities now to increase my reach by creating win-win partnership with sponsors. So yeah, so that is something to definitely look into some more.
Very good. Well, thank you. Well, ladies, with that, we'll complete our time together. Hey, let's go now. I wouldn't be surprised now if you start attracting to you sponsors that say, hey, I'm really appreciating what you're doing and I want to be involved. So with that, good. Well, thank you. We'll stop the recording and then take some Q&A afterwards. Thanks very much. Have a good day. We'll see you next week for caregivers in the workplace, a really hot and important topic. Okay. Bye for now. Thank you.